Hi everyone. In this video we will learn about print related features in Excel. Once your data is ready, you may want to print it, and this is where most beginners start seeing problems. To go to the print preview, you can go to File and Print. It will show you print preview, or you can use the shortcut Ctrl plus P. That will show you the print preview. The print preview screen has three main sections. On the right side you see the print preview, where you see how the pages are going to be displayed. You can scroll through the pages by using this arrow keys. The top left you have the printer section where you choose the printer, and in the settings section you have various options to configure the output before printing. So you can choose size of the paper, the orientation, whether it should look broad or narrow, the margins, and a few more options for configuring the page layout. Here you see portrait and landscape orientation. So orientation basically refers to the direction a page is displayed or printed. So portrait means Excel will print the content in a taller format. It will be taller than wider. This is the default option. You can also choose landscape orientation, which is more wider. So you can use one of these options to fit the content. If I choose landscape, you see the page becomes wider, but it has become shorter. If I choose portrait, it becomes taller and less wider. So this content, income statement, if I try to print and keep portrait, it's not wide enough. It truncates some content from the right, which you can see on the second page. But if I change the orientation to landscape, so now it perfectly fits all the columns on one page. There's nothing on the second page. So as a beginner, you must always remember, if you want to print wider data, choose landscape. If it is taller data, choose portrait. So this is about orientation. You can also change the margins from here. So margins are the blank spaces between your data and the edges of the printed page. This space on the left and this space on the right, and space on the top and the bottom. So you can choose from normal, wide, narrow margins, or you can give your own margins. If you go to custom margins, I'll choose another piece of content to show the margins clearly. Here, so you have normal margins. If I choose narrow margins, you see the page is able to fit more content. The space on the left and the right reduces because you have now narrow margins. If I choose normal, the margin space increases. So this is how you can change the margin space. Excel also supports a wide range of standard print paper sizes, with A4 and letter being the more widely used formats. If you change the paper size from letter to A4, you see the paper size changed a bit. Almost the same size, but slight difference. So this is where you can change the paper size in Excel. Now you must always check print preview first if you want to print something, because if it looks wrong here, it will also print wrong. So in this case, you can see that some of the columns have been truncated. There are a few more columns here on the right, so it is not printed on that page. I'll go to the next pages. You see here the columns that were truncated there, which were not visible on the first page, they have come here. They're visible on page 4. So when you print it, the columns are going to print on different pages, and this is not what you want. So you'll encounter such problems when you try to print. You can fix this by adjusting the scaling. Scaling is a setting in the printer settings. It is used to make things look bigger on the screen and to fit them better on the printed page. Here under the settings section, you see no scaling. No scaling is the default option. There are multiple options here. I will choose fit all columns on one page. Earlier there were 6 pages. The moment I click this option, fit all columns on one page. Excel reduces the number of pages to 2 because it now compresses everything and shows all the columns on one page. So it nicely fits all columns on one page. You can also use the fit sheet on one page option to fit everything on one page. So for example, in this sheet, this shows a sample income statement for a company. So when I do Ctrl P, when I see print preview of this, you see it doesn't show everything on one page. Half of the thing is spilled over onto the other page. Since this has comparatively less data, I'll choose the fit sheet on one page option. So now everything fits on one page. There's only one page. When you print, everything will come on one page. So this option shrinks the print, not your data. Now you have a clean preview with no cut-off columns. Next, we'll see how to print titles in Excel, wherein certain rows or columns get repeated on every page when you print out. So it's like printing headers on every page. Headers are commonly used when you work with mark sheets, attendance, sales reports. So let's see how to print titles.
So usually what happens in Excel is that when you print a file which has many rows and columns, when you take the printout, the header is shown only on the first page of the printout and it does not get repeated on the subsequent pages. But I'm sure you would want the header to appear on every page. So if you go to print preview, now you see the header at the top of the first page, but if you look at the subsequent pages, you do not see the header. So how do you make the header to appear on every page? For that, you go to page layout, go to print titles, and here under print titles you see rows to repeat at top. So here you should mention like which rows you want as a header on every page. You can choose rows or you can choose columns also. So in this case the columns will get repeated on every page, and whatever you select here, it will get repeated on the top of every page. So here I'll go and choose the first 3 rows. I've selected the first 3 rows and this will get repeated now on every page. I'll say OK. I'll go to print preview. Now if you see, the header is getting repeated on every page of the printout. The first 3 rows that we had selected, it is appearing on every page. So this is how you show the header on every page of the printout. So similar to how you use headers and footers in Word document, you can add headers and footers in Excel as well. So here's some data. If I look at the print preview of this thing, so you just have some columns as a heading, but you can have something more if you want. So in order to access the headers and footers, you go to view and click on page layout. So now here you see the headers. This is the header section, and when you go down you see the footer section. Now whatever you add in the header or the footer will be displayed on every page of Excel. To add things, go to header and footer here. These are things that you can add to the header or the footer. So I'll say page number here. This is the header. Under footer I'll say this is the footer. Here I can add number of pages. Now we can check in the print preview how the headers and the footers look. So first we'll need to come out of the page layout mode and I'll click on normal so that we are in the normal mode, the default mode when you open Excel. So now we can go and see print preview. So here you see the page number, and this is the header text that we wrote. This is the footer. I go to the second page, that the page number changes to 2, and then total number of 2, total number of pages 2. You can also go and check the header and footer like from page layout. If you go into the page setup, here you have header and footer, so you can see what you had added in the header. So say page number, this is the header, footer, this is the footer. You can also change the headers, like Excel provides some default headers for you to use, so you can select that and use if you want. Same goes for footer. So you can beautify it more, like you can be creative and add more information in the headers to beautify the document or to provide more information to the readers. So but this is how basically you work with headers and footers in Excel.
Next, we'll see how to set print area in Excel. By default, Excel prints everything, but you can tell it to print certain sections of the file. By default, Excel prints everything unless you tell it otherwise. So you can instruct Excel to print only certain sections of the data. Let's see how to do that. So let's say here, instead of printing everything, you want to print only this section. So for that you go to page layout. Under page setup, on the ribbon you will find page setup. Click on print area. Here you can see you can set the print area and clear print area. I'll select set print area. So Excel has marked this area for printing. So now when you go, you see it is showing only that part of the income statement which we had selected. You can go back to the print area and clear the print area. So now when you go, the print preview will show everything. So this is how you can set print area in Excel. Finally, I'll show how to share Excel files. You can go to file and export. So you can share your Excel file as a PDF or as an Excel file. To share it as a PDF file, just go here. By default it says PDF, so just say publish. Okay, I already have one file, I'll say yes. By default Excel prints only the active worksheet, but you can change that in the settings. So under print settings, you see this option is set to print active sheets. If I change it to print entire workbook, it will print the complete file. So you can print active sheets, print selection, or print entire workbook. So it shares the content as a PDF file. So that's all in this video. So always check print preview before you print. Subscribe for more such Excel tips.